I heard you all go, at the end. Jesus had some hard things to say in this one. My niece, Lily, has a really cool boyfriend named David. Now, don't take my word for it. My 3 grandsons think he's cool. Before they knew him very well, though, and they couldn't remember his name, they referred to him as that, that really nice boy that looks like a girl, but he's not a girl, he's a boy. We finally figured out he said that because David has long hair, and sometimes he'd wear it in a man bun. But I know, cool, man bun. Mostly I think they like him because he adores kids and is always willing to play. He used to work for years with preschool children, and he knows all the games, and he gets right down on the floor. He can even do a few tricks on a skateboard. Well, recently he completed his master's degree in education, and this year is his first year of teaching school at an elementary school not too far from here in West St. Paul. We noticed a slight change in him at our last family gathering. When my youngest grandson, Owen, started working on him to go outside and play, David told him that he needed to sit at the table and finish everything that was on his plate before he could go outside. Well, Owen came up with one excuse after another. I'm too full to eat these carrots, or this carrot fell on the floor and it's really dirty now, or I don't like this kind of bread. And then the bargaining. I'll finish my food after we play. I need to work up an appetite. Well, in the past, David might have caved, but this time he didn't bat an eye. After not responding to any of Owen's dramatic pleas, David simply said, "All I'm hearing is excuses." Well, the adults burst out laughing and said, "That's David's teacher voice." And indeed it was. He now has a teacher look and a teacher voice. But I can't tell you how many times I've repeated David's phrase to myself. And I've wanted to repeat it to others sometimes. All I'm hearing is excuses. Or, as good old Fred Flintstone motto, yabba dabba do. I took that from Sandy. We were talking about the yabba excuse. Yeah but, yeah but, yeah but. I've heard it used by people feeling powerless over multiple aspects of their lives, from addiction to relationships to toxic workplaces to self-care to anything they are wanting to change. When I ask or somebody else asks, have you considered going to a meeting? Or have you considered going to church? Or going to the gym? Or going to treatment? There are always 100 reasons not to. Yeah, but I've tried before and it never works. Yeah, but there's a woman at my meeting who pushes all my buttons. Yeah, but by the end of the workday, I'm just too tired to go out again. Yeah, but I already blew it today, so I might as well wait and start over tomorrow. I call it the yabbit habit. The passage we just heard from the book of Luke was written just for those of us who struggle a little bit with yabba dabba do. In Act 1, we hear this important phrase that when the days drew near for Jesus to be taken up, he, quote, set his face to go to Jerusalem. This is the moment of decision. Even though we are only a third of the way into the book of Luke, Jesus has decided to give himself up for us all. Jerusalem is not the place where Jesus hung out. Jerusalem is the place where Jesus was crucified. Jerusalem is also the place where the resurrection took place. Even though there's much ground to cover and much teaching ahead, Jesus knows that his beloveds will never understand the love he is calling us to, unless he shows them with his very life. So Jesus has turned to face Jerusalem. He has made a decision. Think about a time when you've made a decision. I am going to Hazelden. Act 2. The disciples immediately get distracted. We are told that a few messengers go ahead to prepare lodging for Jesus as he travels. They go to Samaria, but the people there refused to accept them. Now remember, Samaritans and Jews are ethnic enemies. Jews see Samaritans as a little less than, a little lower class. But oh my goodness, are Jesus' messengers ever offended when the Samaritans turn them down? Talk about righteous indignation. Jesus isn't surprised. He knows that the Samaritans have rejected him because he has set his face on Jerusalem. Sometimes when we set our face on a decision, other things are just distractions. But James and John are really tweaked. So what's their response? Did you notice what they said? Jesus, do you want us to command fire to come down and burn them and consume them all? And we can laugh, but before we feel too smug, can any of us identify? When was the last time you tweeted out a political put-down about an opponent or unfriended somebody on Facebook because you didn't like what they posted? They had an opposing point of view. I'm aware that we're moving into election season once again, and there's going to be a lot of opportunity in the weeks and months ahead to practice loving people who are not like us. Jesus is not too impressed with James and John when they volunteer to torch the town. He rebukes them. And then he continues to journey on that road towards Jerusalem. And as he does, he calls on others to follow him. Jesus says, "Follow me." And then he sort of demonstrates just how difficult it is to follow Jesus. He says, "Follow me." And one potential follower says, "I will, but first, let me go and bury my father." Now that's a pretty good excuse, don't you think? The next says, "Of course I will follow you, but I need to go back and let people know that I'm leaving." Another legitimate thing to want to do. But Jesus says, all I'm hearing is excuses. Your father died? Well, tough luck. Let the dead bury themselves. May seem harsh. Actually, it is harsh. But think of it this way. Jesus is saying, there will always be good reasons to put off following me. But this is urgent. You don't have time to procrastinate. It's life and death. What I have to offer, this new life, is the sweetest thing you will ever taste. And there is no time to waste. You have got to put first things first. Follow me. Just do it. Now. Yeah, but, do.